Comité paralympique canadien, Canadian Paralympic Committee, le gouvernement du Québec, the Government of Quebec. Mieux pour tous et toutes les façons dont Bell redonne aux communautés et au sport à travers le Canada. Bell for better and all the ways it gives back to communities and sports across Canada. Murtha Pools, toujours au cœur des sports aquatiques de haute performance. Murtha Pools, always at the heart of high-performance aquatic sports. La Société de sauvetage du Canada, votre partenaire de confiance en éducation aquatique et en prévention de la noyade. Life Saving Society Canada, your trusted partner in aquatic education and drowning prevention.
I have a disability, but I'm not fragile. My first big hit was a rush. It made me feel alive in a way only sports can. Because of partners like Bell, I get to feel it on the world stage. And now I get to share that feeling with the next generation.
Happy Friday from the Toronto Pan Am Sports Centre, the launching pad this week for Canada's best swimmers as they punch their tickets to the Olympic and Paralympic Games in Paris, France. Last night, the building was hopping when she did it again. Summer McIntosh powering her way to another world record in this building to the delight of the home crowd, knocking another second and a half off her own mark in the 400 individual medley. And welcome poolside at the Toronto Pan Am Sports Centre. Rob Snook alongside Byron McDonald as we get set for night 5 of competition. And Byron, we had a chance to bump into Summer and her mom Jill after last night's festivities, and she didn't seem at all fazed by all the hoopla.
Well, I think that's really, really important. Just say it's another day in the office. And that's because there's so much going on around this young woman that you could get distracted and lose your focus. But she is keeping her eye on the ball, and that's a really good sign for her and for Canada as she heads into Paris.
Meanwhile, tonight, Canada's most decorated Olympic swimmer, Penny Oleksiak, she of the 7 Olympic medals, hits the water in the women's 100-meter freestyle. Penny has yet to qualify, Byron, but this is the event that she won gold in Rio in 2016.
Well, it was a bit of a shocker earlier in these trials when Penny missed the team in the 200-meter freestyle. She had a bronze medal from the Tokyo Olympics in that event, but she is the odds-on favorite here in the 100-meter freestyle. She's the class of the field, so I think she'll be earning that ticket to get to Paris. The person we won't see in this race, unfortunately, is Kat Savard. 15 years on the national team, a 3-time Olympian, an Olympic medalist, a real strong relay swimmer for Canada. She just missed making the final, so we won't see her in her final race.
Last year at World Championships in Japan, Ilya Haroun came within an eyelash of making the podium in the men's 200-meter butterfly, Byron. He looked pretty good today in the heats. I don't know, what did you think?
Well, it was a pretty easy swim for him. He's a little bit 2 or 3 seconds faster than the rest of the field, but the idea is that he's got to challenge the best in the world. And in order to do that, he's got to put a pedal to the metal tonight in the finals. And he was Canada's breakout swimmer of the year last year, so he's poised to really move ahead.
Meanwhile, we did have an Olympic qualifying standard achieved this morning. Winnipeg's Kelsey Waugh did it in the women's 200-meter breaststroke. She seems pretty well positioned to make her second Olympic team.
Well, yeah, this is a really big breakthrough for Kelsey. What I mean by that is in 2020, she was on fire. She was looking great. COVID hit, and she went into a little bit of a rough patch there. And later, 21, 22, she looks back to the form that she had in 2020. She made the Olympic qualifying time in the preliminaries. That's unheard of. So she's setting herself up for a real good run, and she'll be able to sign that boarding pass probably tonight with another good swim.
So a slew of stars in the pool again tonight in Toronto, including Paralympian Nicholas Bennett, who was within milliseconds of a world record this morning in the heats of the 200-meter individual medley.
Good evening and welcome to Day 5 of the 2024 Olympic and Paralympic Trials presented by Bell. The greatest Canadian swimmers, coaches, and builders of all time are recognized for their outstanding accomplishments and contributions to the sport of swimming through Swimming Canada's Circle of Excellence. Tonight, we honor an official recognized around the world.
Les plus grands nageurs, entraîneurs et bâtisseurs canadiens sont reconnus pour leur réalisation et contribution exceptionnelles au sport de la natation par l'entremise du Cercle de l'Excellence de Natation Canada. Ce soir, nous rendons hommage à un officiel reconnu dans le monde entier.
Bill Hogan realized early in life that he was the worst swimmer in his family, but he put his other skills to work. He volunteered as a swimming official at the local club in St. John's, Newfoundland, and rose through the ranks to become a referee at national and international competitions. Over the years, the next 30 years to be exact, he attended 3 Olympic Games and 8 World Championships. Eventually, Bill would travel the world conducting seminars to teach other officials. Bill also spent 13 years on Swimming Canada's board of directors, where he held several positions. He was president of the Aquatic Federation of Canada and served 2 terms as president of Swimming Newfoundland and Labrador. He was inducted into Newfoundland and Labrador Sports Hall of Fame in 2019.
Bill a également siégé pendant 13 ans au conseil d'administration de Natation Canada, où il a occupé plusieurs fonctions. Il a été président de la Fédération aquatique du Canada et a rempli 2 mandats comme président de Natation Terre-Neuve et Labrador. Il a été intronisé au Temple de la renommée des sports de Terre-Neuve et Labrador en 2019. Amateurs de natation, applaudissez chaleureusement Bill Hogan.
Swimming fans, please join me in congratulating the newest member of Swimming Canada's Circle of Excellence, Bill Hogan. Now presenting Bill with his Circle of Excellence plaque is the Chief Executive Officer of Swimming Canada, Suzanne Pollins.
Thank you so much, and Bill, this is such an honor, and I'm thrilled to be giving you this award this evening. We go way back. I was one of those young officials that you have mentored along the way, and I will never forget a certain swim meet in Mexico City that we basically had to run from scratch. So thank you for everything you've done to the sport of swimming, for our officials community, and just for swimming in Canada. It has been an amazing contribution, and thank you so much.
Suzanne. And thank you to Swimming Canada. And I accept this recognition on behalf of all the technical officials in Canada. To be honored to be recommended for this honor for the Circle of Excellence, I'm humbled by recognizing the numerous coaches and swimmers who've been outstanding in their performance of their duties over the past number of years. My 30 years or so have been supported by my wife, Janet. We are a family of 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls, all who were swimmers. And for a good 15 or 20 years and still going, my wife and I have never seen past 5 o'clock in the morning, but we loved every minute of it. So I thank Swimming Canada, and on behalf of my family, we appreciate this recognition. We'll treasure it, and thank you again.
Swim fans, once again, please join me in congratulating and welcoming Bill Hogan to Swimming Canada's Circle of Excellence.
Félicitations, Bill, et merci beaucoup pour vos contributions à la natation canadienne. I'd like to now recognize that the land we are standing on today is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. It is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaty, signed with multiple Mississaugas and Chippewa bands. Nous reconnaissons que la terre sur laquelle nous nous réunissons est le territoire traditionnel de nombreuses nations, notamment les Mississaugas du Crédit, les Anishinaabe, les Chippewa, les Haudenosaunee et les Wendats, et abrite maintenant de nombreux peuples diversifiés des Premières Nations, des Inuits et des Métis. Nous reconnaissons également que Toronto est couvert par le traité 13 avec les Mississaugas du Crédit et par les traités Williams, signés avec plusieurs bandes de Mississauga et Chippewa. like to now introduce our starters and referees for this evening's sessions. On aimerait présenter les juges pour les finales de ce soir. Referee for men's events, juge arbitre pour les épreuves masculines, Norma Lachance. Referee for women's events, juge arbitre pour les épreuves féminines, Diane McKenzie. Juge de départ pour les épreuves masculines, men's events starter, Kelly Holy. Juge de départ pour les épreuves féminines, starter for women's events, Julie Gay.
At this time, we ask everyone to please stand if you are able and join Jeff Holmes in the singing of our national anthem.
On vous invite maintenant à vous lever, si vous pouvez, et se joindre à Jeff Holmes, qui interprète l'hymne national du Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command, carte embrasse et porter le pays, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Jeff Holmes, your anthem this evening. We'll go down on deck with our live host for this week's Olympic and Paralympic trials, Sandrine Mainville.
Welcome to the Olympic and Paralympic swimming trials presented by Bell. My name is Sandrine Mainville and I will be your on-deck host for the evening. We're already at day 5 and a few swimmers have already gotten their ticket for Paris. And we have 8 more events tonight, which means more chances to qualify. All right, are you ready to cheer for your swimmers?
Sends shivers down your spine, doesn't it? Certainly does for us, and we thank the crowd, and it's pretty much a sellout tonight at the Toronto Pan Am Sports Centre. as we gear up for our first event of the night. We'll begin with the para program. We'll begin with the women's para 50-meter backstroke. That's the first event in the pool. There'll be 2 athletes, both in the S3 category, and they are gunning for Paralympic qualifying standards. The standard is 1 minute 10.06 seconds, and here come the athletes, Byron.
There's Nikita Enns. 10 years ago, prior to the car accident that left her a paraplegic, she cycled across Canada in 32 days. Wow. Very, very fit. She'll have lane number 4, 35 years of age, out of Saskatoon. And there's Ali Van Wyck, 21 years of age, also the S3 category. She's from the Toronto area. At the World Championships, Para Championships last year, she finaled in 3 events. In Tokyo, she was 12th in this very event, the 50-meter backstroke. She was voted the Para Breakout Swimmer of the Year by Swim Canada in 2019.
Ali Van Wyck Smart is an S3 athlete. Her time in the qualifying earlier today was 1:13.89, about a second and a half slower than Nikita Enns, who is the Canadian record holder, by the way, in the event. Her Canadian record would, if she could duplicate that, Byron, that would qualify her under the Paralympic standard. Her time of 1:08.48 would do it. And we know about the fitness of Nikita Enns. You told us about that just moments ago. From Saskatoon and the Lasers.
Athletes are just getting ready to get to their lanes. The time we were talking about to qualify is 1:10.06. Both women were just a bit over that in the morning qualifying.
So athletes in the lower categories, for instance, the S3 will do the 50-meter backstroke as opposed to the 100 back. They are allowed assistance. Of course, the assistants cannot do anything but hold the hands until the gun sounds. And we are underway in the women's para 50-meter backstroke. Nikita Enns is in lane 4. Ali Van Wyck is in lane 5.
And it is interesting. Obviously, you can see in lane 4, Nikita Enns has found that it's more efficient for her to use both arms instead of just one at a time, which is what most backstrokers choose to do. I think it's very novel that she's figured that out and been able to do that. Starting to pick it up now, actually.
Seems like a really balanced way of getting through the water. Again, her personal best time is the Canadian record time of 1:08.48.
It's a good shot of Ali Van Wyck.
This is going to be close, Byron. This is going to be really close. They're looking to get under 1 minute and 10 seconds. About 10 meters to go. Nikita Enns will have to work really hard here. She is about 3 meters away. The clock ticking. It's going to be close. It's going to be just outside. 1:11.60. This is the time by a second and a half, but a battle between the athletes, each other, and the clock.
1:11.60.
Well, we talked about Nikita using double arm backstroke. Works very well. It gives her an extra big, strong pull when she does it, and it actually keeps the momentum. She's allowed to keep her momentum going. A lot of the able-bodied athletes alternate because they feel there would be some down space, but she just keeps going and going, and it seems to work very well. And in second spot, Ali Van Wyck Smart.
Canada will send a team of 15 women and 7 men to the Paralympic Games in Paris this summer. And you're going to see an absolutely stacked couple of heats a little bit later on tonight in the individual medley races with a bunch of spots on the line. We're looking forward to hearing from Nikita Enns, the Canadian record holder, after her win in 1:11.60. The time for Ali Van Wyck Smart was 1:13.64. That's been confirmed.
Congratulations, Nikita. How do you feel about that swim?
I'm really happy with that swim, but there's more to come for the summer.
Yeah, you came 9th in this event in Tokyo. If you go to Paris this summer, what will be your goal?
Under 110 would be the goal.
Well, we wish that for you. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Well, Nikita Enns has a goal. She was 9th last time around. Sounds like she wants to move up in the rankings if she does get named to the team. Because there is a limit on the total number of athletes that can go, they can't announce the team automatically after every event. They have to wait till the end on Sunday, rank them all against the world, and then you'll see who the 15 women and 7 men are.
Well, the next man we're about to see, Sebastian Masabi, has had a busy week, Byron. Here's what he's done so far. He's set a Canadian record in the 100 free. He set a Canadian record in the 50 back. He set a world record in the 50 butterfly, and he set a Canadian record in the 150-meter medley. How's that for a good week?
That's not, and the week's not even over. He's got a few more events, including this one, the 50-meter backstroke. He swims at the Pacific Seawalls, which is in Surrey, BC, just outside Vancouver. He did make the Olympic cutoff time in the individual medley that he raced. Therefore, he will be considered. And there's Mom.
His most famous mom.
She's been doing a lot of cheering this week, that's for sure. Looks a little nervous before this race. The goal time is 44.54.
He did set a Canadian record today in the heats. I don't think I even mentioned that one, Byron. Oh, actually, I did. Yeah, he did. 53.74. So it would be a big stretch for him to get to that Paralympic qualifying standard. We're underway in the men's para 50-meter backstroke. It's a race against the clock for Sebastian Masabi.
Just because it is a bit of a stretch to get to the time in this event, we did say he has made the time, the cutoff time, in another event. So he will be in the hopper for consideration to go to Paris for the Paralympic Games.
So Sebastian, on one of the strokes that he would use for the individual medley, which we saw him set a Canadian record in last night, is the backstroke, and here he comes, trying to better his own time of 53.74, just outside it in 55.32 for Sebastian Masabi.
Gets some clapping from Mom on the sidelines.
If I'm not mistaken, Byron, second day in a row that Sebastian went quicker in the morning than in the evening session. He would have done well in Tokyo at the Olympic and Paralympics, where they flip-flop the events.
And as you're talking about, Rob, for those of you that remember, okay, she's cheering, no question about it. Mom is the biggest cheerleader for young Sebastian.
As every mom should be.
Absolutely. Yes, and the finals in Tokyo were actually around 10 o'clock in the morning. So they actually would be in primetime television in North America, which was similar to Beijing back in 2008 as well. So won't be the case this summer from Paris, but that was the case then.
You'll have to Well, no, I was going to say you'll have to stay up late, but the events will be happening
7 o'clock, 8 o'clock there. So
yeah.
Early afternoon in North America.
Let's hear from Sebastian, poolside.
Congratulations, Sebastian. How do you feel right now?
I feel good.
Take us through your race. What do you remember from your race?
To go very fast and to kick and go with a straight arm for a stroke.
Well, congrats. You have a very busy week this week. I think you have the 50 free and the 200 free on Sunday.
I do.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Well, we are gearing up for a full continuing slate of events. The next one will include Canada's most decorated Olympic swimmer. In fact, the athlete who has won more medals than any other Canadian at the Olympic Games, and Penny Oleksiak. She'll be looking to punch her ticket in a tough field of athletes who also want to earn their spot in the 100 and on the 4x100 relay team. It's all to battle for coming up here in mere moments.
Because Canada, the way a country qualifies is you must place at a certain point, i.e. top 16 at the World Championships the previous year, and there was a bonus this winter, but Canada's place was so high in 2023 World Championships that they were guaranteed a spot to go to the Paris Olympics, because there is a hard cap at 16 teams. So because of that, Canada's sending a team. Canada's selection criteria states that they will take the top 4 that finish in this 100-meter freestyle. So it isn't just Penny Oleksiak going to make the team here and try to make an individual swim. There are 3 other swimmers behind her that are trying to get on the relay with her. And a couple of them, Rebecca Smith and Taylor Ruck, were on that relay in Tokyo with Penny, and they're in the finals.
Hey, Byron, I want to give a quick shout out to 2 members of our broadcast team in Devin Haru and Brittany McLean, who've been doing an outstanding job poolside for a lot of the week. A lot of interviews. You can find it on social media. They put together a great piece on Jeremy Bagshaw the other day. Devin had a wonderful piece last night on after the race with Summer McIntosh, and just great work. And I want to tip my hat to both Devin and Brittany.
All right, here we go. Women's 100-meter freestyle. Penny Oleksiak did win this event at the trials in 2021. It's a veteran field. There's only 2 teenagers in this field. Usually there's many more teenagers in a trials final on the women's side of events, but not this time. We're also missing Maggie McNeil, was feeling a little under the weather. She was on that relay in Tokyo, so they'll be missing her in this final. And Summer McIntosh chose to rest for her other events later in the week. Jansen, 18 years of age from the Burlington area, had a late start, only started swimming seriously when she was 12. She finished 5th in the 200-meter freestyle, so she's got a chance to be named as an alternate. Daniel Annis from Newmarket, now living and training in British Columbia. She has a lot of medals in the backstroke internationally, one of the first times I've seen her in a big final. The freestyle, Ainsley McMurray, bronze medal in the World Student Games 2019, just graduated from the University of Toronto with a master's degree, was a national champion in the 100-meter free at the University Sport Championships. Sarah Fournier, 27 years of age, one of her first major international competitions last year in the World Championships. She is from Quebec City, swims with Marc-Andre Coultier. Sienna Angrove, the only teenager, 17 years of age. Matt Kamloops trains with Summer McIntosh in Sarasota. Taylor Ruck, a veteran, 6'1", 23 years of age. When she moved to Toronto to join the National Center, she had to go out and buy a winter coat. She'd never seen that much cold weather before. Rebecca Smith also moved to this National Center when she was 16. She's out of Red Deer. Now just graduated from nursing, got a nursing degree in December. Brooklyn Deltright, 20 years of age, from Moncton, New Brunswick, had 5 relay medals at the Pan Am Games in this fall. Mary Sophie Harvey has found the the performances that everybody predicted 10 years ago when she was 14. She's now 24, and she's already qualified in 2 events for these Olympic trials. This is Penny. 23 years of age, standout, as Rob mentioned, 7 Olympic medals. Her brother Jamie is an NHL defenseman, plays for the Seattle Kraken. When Penny's going through tough patches, the man she calls the great Michael Phelps. They're good friends. She has moved down to California. She said, it's been a good move for me.
Penny Oleksiak's personal best time is the Canadian record, 52:59. Set that in Tokyo in 2021 when she finished in 4th place. Of course, was the gold medalist in Rio in 2016 in a dead even tie with Simone Manuel. We're underway in the women's 100-meter freestyle final. Penny Oleksiak in the middle of the pool in lane 4. She swam this morning in 54:61. It was the fastest qualifying time.
Penny is the class of the field. She's already taken it to the front. The woman next to her in lane number 5, above the yellow buoys there, usually comes back very, very fast. She'll trail at the halfway point and then try to catch Penny on the way home.
25:76 for Penny Oleksiak. Rebecca Smith was 3rd. It was Taylor Ruck in 2nd place. The veterans trying to take this one to Paris.
Penny Oleksiak is out in front, but here comes Mary Sophie Harvey challenging. Taylor Ruck trying to stay in the race. It's going to be close.
Mary Sophie Harvey, Penny Oleksiak, neck and neck. Who's going to get there first? It's going to be close. It is Oleksiak in 53:66, just ahead of Mary Sophie Harvey, and Brooklyn Dockwright in 3rd place in 54:33. That is just barely outside the Olympic qualifying time for the 100 for Penny Oleksiak by 0.05 of a second.
And 4th spot, Taylor Ruck. Taylor Ruck, a veteran of 2 Olympic Games. She's going to back for her 3rd Olympic Games, and she has been swimming amazing over the last 12 months on the relays, so that'll be good. Penny Oleksiak, I think, a little disappointed. She didn't get that individual event qualifying time, but she is going to the Olympic Games, and that helps Canada's relays. No question about it. Many of the fans, I'm sure, see her. She is the face of the Tim Hortons Smile Cookie charitable campaign. But she did say she loves the anonymity in California. They know me as a person, not just as a swimmer. Right here to the finish. Mary Sophie was closing so fast. I think the fact that Penny Oleksiak is 6 foot 1 inches tall allowed her to get her hand on the wall just that little bit, 5/100 ahead of Mary Sophie Harvey.
Well, both in really quick times, 53:66 and 53:71. Just 500 separate the two.
And there's your 3rd and 4th spot, Douthwright and Taylor Ruck. Unfortunately for Rebecca Smith, she's on the outside looking in. 54:54.7. She probably won't get named to the Olympic team, but they might take an alternate, so she can hope.
Oleksiak, the Canadian champion in the trials in 53.66 seconds.
These are the 4 swimmers who have been considered for nomination for the 4x1 freestyle. Congratulations, ladies. Tay-Tay, I feel like you've had some ups and downs in the past few years, but I feel like you're doing so great this week, and I'm very happy to see you making your 3rd Olympic team. How do you feel right now?
Oh man, I'm just so grateful to be here and to see everybody on deck, and I don't know, it's just such a blessing to swim. So it's good to see you. It's been a while.
Brooklyn, you came 6th in the 200 free. How does it feel to make the top 4 in the 100 free?
I'm just so grateful for all the opportunities and all the people that have helped me get here, and especially these girls for pushing me so hard to get there. So grateful.
Mary, comment tu te sens de faire partie du relais 4x100 mètres libres qui a eu tellement de succès dans les dernières années?
C'est un peu un sentiment irréel parce que j'ai jamais vraiment été une fille très sprinteuse. Puis on m'a toujours dit que
ça allait être très difficile pour moi d'être capable de faire un 100 mètres libre, puis de maintenant faire partie de l'équipe olympique aux 4 fois 100 mètres libre. C'est quelque chose que je pensais pas faire dans ma vie, donc assez contente.
Penny, I feel like not so long ago we qualified together to make this relay in Rio. How does it feel to be standing next to these girls to make the relay in Paris?
I'm excited. I think we have a really good team heading into Paris, so I'm just happy to be a part of it now.
Well, congratulations to the 4 of us.
Well, those are your bookends at over 6 feet of tall. On the left, Penny Lexiak. On the right, Taylor Ruck. And then you got Mary Zophi and Brooklyn Doutright from New Brunswick. First time there's been a New Brunswick native on the Olympic team in quite a long time.
Well, the ups and downs are certainly a part of the story, and we heard about that a little bit with Taylor and with Penny, but they persevered, Byron, and here they are, a chance to represent their country at the Olympic Games in France. Next event in the pool, the men's 200-meter backstroke. And we've got some new names who are going to challenge for the podium and spots to get to Paris, France, and that's always exciting to see.
We're just waiting for them to walk under the Eiffel Tower and come in. There's our first swimmer, Brendan Oswald, 22 years of age, out of Windsor, had congenital elbow issues requiring double elbow surgery 12 months ago today almost, and he's made an amazing recovery, and he made his first ever final 2 seconds under his best time. Mr. Caruso, from 18 years of age, from the Vancouver Simon Fraser University team, we'll have lane 0. Up in lane 8 will be Parker Lenko, the 19-year-old out of Connecticut that attends Princeton University. One of the first times he's ever been in the final. Cole Pratt won this event 3 years ago. He has had serious shoulder problems for about 18 months. He's just coming out of the end of it. Not quite fit enough probably to get back to where he was 3 years ago. Loic Corville-Fortin, not 20 years of age, out of Camo in Montreal, was on the junior Pan Pac team the summer of 2022. Rabin Doman, born in Johannesburg, the family moved to Australia, then they moved to Canada, and he was on the 2019 World Championship team, now trying to make this one. Hugh McNeil, 20 years of age, from Langley, BC, attends UBC. He was the U-Sport Swimmer of the Year in 2024. He won a bronze medal at the Pan Ams. This man has already made the Olympic team. Standout 100-meter backstroke on one of the opening days out of Saskatoon, a science major at UBC. Ethan Eck out of Tallahassee, Florida. He and his 2 siblings are all here competing. He's been in 2 other finals already at this competition. Big breakthrough, Aiden Norman, all 6'7" of them, 18 years of age, from Calgary. His 2 sisters are also racing at this championship trials. At the World Juniors in the summer of 2023, he qualified 8th in the morning, but moved up to 4th at night. Well, here he qualified 1st with a stunning morning performance. We'll see if he can hold on to that in the finals and reach that cutoff time of 1:57.50 to qualify for the Olympics.
He knocked over a second off of his personal best time, Byron, in the heats. As you said, a stunning time for the big 6'7" University of Calgary man, Aiden Norman. And earning him the middle lane, lane 4, for the final.
So this is going to require these gentlemen to rise. And what I mean by that is the cutoff time, 1:57.50, is faster than anybody in this field has ever done in their life. Some of them are very close, within tenths of a second. So let's see if they and their coaches have hit what's called the taper for this meet.
If they do it, they might break Marcus Thormeyer's Canadian record. And we're underway in the men's 200-meter backstroke. The top of your screen is Brendan Oswald, then Lenassi, then Corville-Fortin, McNeil, Eck, and Norman are in the middle lanes. Tierney, Doman, and Pratt, and Caruso. Pratt, of course, in lane 1, the Tokyo Olympian, coming back from injury.
And the man that went out really quick in the preliminaries was Blake Turney, and it looks like he's decided to do the same thing again. He's in lane number 3. Now, the point is that he started to have some pain in the morning preliminaries towards the last 25 meters of the race. So if he doesn't have that pain, he's going to be able to make the time. He looked so good in the 100 meters when he won it the other day that he might just have enough for 4 lengths instead of 2.
And And he is in the lead. Blake Tierney out of the Saskatoon Goldfinns has got a slight lead over Aiden Norman. And then the battle for third is between Raven Norman and Hugh McNeil right now. They're halfway through in 56-55 for Tierney.
He's way out there. He is really taking it to him. The interesting part in backstroke is none of the other swimmers can see him. It's not like the other strokes. So he's got a clear water now. If he can keep this rate up for another 75 meters, he'll get under that standard and win this race. Aiden Norman now starting to make a nice push. Very easy flowing backstroke for Aiden Norman.
Tierney was under Canadian record time, which would put him into the Olympic qualifying position, and he is ripping in lane number 3, and the crowd is on its feet.
He's got to keep the turnover going. He's got to keep his legs. Watch to see if his legs keep kicking hard, and they are. He can keep that up. He's going to make the time. Tightening up a bit, but he's got it almost.
Hugh McNeil is in contention for second. So is Norman. Here comes the clock. Watch it. He's done it. 1:56.74. He's under the time.
He also sets a Canadian record. Beat Marcus Thormeyer's time of 1:56.96. Excellent job.
And in second place, Hugh McNeil. And it was Aiden Norman third, a new Canadian record and an Olympic qualifying time for Blake Tierney.
Well, he and his coach have hit the taper right, as we say. 2 victories, 100 backstroke, 200 backstroke. Blake Tierney swims at the National Center, based out of UBC. New head coach Scott Talbot started in September. He's got a great performance here from this young man from Saskatoon, the science major at UBC. Good technique. He bobs a little bit in the water compared to some of the backstrokers, but I think it's partially because he's pulling such power with each one of his pulls. Towards the end, he actually started to drift towards the lane marker. It's lucky he actually didn't hit the lane marker, or he would have lost the entire momentum of his pull. But he was just far enough away that he was able to finish it off.
Byron, I have him at about 2.5 seconds better than his lifetime best.
That was a huge drop. Huge drop. There's your
It's a
results.
tie, Byron. It's a tie we see now between Norman and Eck at 1:58.93. But it is a Canadian record for Blake Tierney.
Blake, congratulations. You just got qualified to be nominated in the 2 back after being qualified in the 100 back. How do you feel about that performance?
I'm pretty happy again. It's pretty, I don't know, it's kind of unexpected. But we have a pretty good training group at HPC Vancouver, and I'm really fortunate to train there. So shout out to my teammates and my coaches.
You got second in this event at Olympic trials in 2021. How does it feel to win this event 3 years later?
It felt a lot easier when you, I don't know, when you get first compared to second, but it was still pretty hard.
Well, congratulations again. So you already signed your name on the boarding pass. We'll keep an eye out for you in Paris. Congrats.
Well, I call that success, coming to a meet and qualifying in both of your best events.
And your best time.
And a Canadian record to boot. Next event in the pool, the women's 200-meter breaststroke. We have some potential Olympic qualification times coming up here as well. And I wonder if the Canadian record holder is in the house. She often watches our broadcasts, Anna Mae Pierce.
She lives not too far from this Pan Am pool. Anna Mae Pierce to 20.12. Here we go, real quick in lane number 9. Amaris Pang out of the London Aquatic Club. Coach Kelly Steves there, now attending UBC. 12 years of age, yes, that's not a misprint. Sheena Tagavi, 12 years of age from the Hayek Club in the suburb of Vancouver. set the national record for 11 and 12-year-olds. Camilla Blanchard, 16 years of age, from the Pointe Claire Swim Club out of Montreal. She was 8th in the earlier event. Tessa Saflua, 25 years of age, is an Olympian. She made the Olympics in the 400 IM in Tokyo. Katya Pavasevich from the Toronto Swim Club finished her master's degree last week in public health. There's Avery Wiseman out of Edmonton. She was 7th in the 100-meter breaststroke earlier this week, 3rd in this trials in 2021 in this event. Sophie Angus won the 100-meter breaststroke. Will be going to Tokyo for the medley relay. She'd love to add another event. Alexandre Lepage, she is the world junior gold medalist in this event, meaning she is the fastest 18 and under swimmer in the world. Sid Pickram, 26 years of age, the veteran, 2-time Olympian. She's won medals in the breaststroke at the World Championships. She's going to need to find that form to qualify in this event. Kelsey Wog out of Winnipeg. Vlastimil Cherny is her coach. He was an Olympic swimmer for Canada as well. She did a stunning swim this morning. Everybody was cheering for her, including, I'm sure, her pet iguanas back at home, and she keeps talking to me about them. People show you pet dogs. She shows me her pet iguanas. I had her in an altitude training camp once. This woman can train. She is one of the toughest trainers out there. We did say in the opening that she's had a couple of years of rough patch here, a little bit off her top form. She looks like she's regained it just in time in an Olympic year. But she does have to try to get to that time again tonight to secure her spot.
Silver medalist last year at the Pan Am Games in Santiago, Chile. Meanwhile, Sydney Pickram was a bronze medalist this year in Doha at the World Championships. Her time there, if she could duplicate that, would be well under the Olympic qualifying standard. We're underway. Women's 200-meter breaststroke. 4 lengths of the pool. Sydney Pickram had big, long strokes when she did her heats earlier today. She is in lane 5, the upper of the 2 yellow lanes. Kelsey Wog is in the lane 4 on her right.
So there'll be interesting strategy here this morning. The way the preliminaries work is they don't put all the 8 best kids in one heat. They rotate them around different heats. So these 2 women were not next to each other. They know each other very well, but you're never sure who's ready, who's not ready, who's ready to go. And Sydney Pickram went much easier in the morning. So this will be an interesting surprise for Kelsey to see that Sid's right with her on this first length of the 4 lengths of this race.
And where you are here doesn't have a whole lot to do with where you're going to be at the end, Byron.
We saw that in the men's 200 breaststroke where young Oliver Dawson was in 3rd place for 185 meters and then won the race. So we'll see what happens here. In 3rd spot probably right now would be lane number 6, Sophie Angus, but Alex Lepage is trying to stay in the hunt.
Kelsey Wog has taken over the lead. She'll be halfway through in 1:08.89. About a half a second faster than Sydney Pickram.
They both are on pace if they can keep this up to meet that standard.
Right now it is still Wog, it is still Pickram, and then the battle for 3rd is between Sophie Angus in lane 6, Alexandre Lepage in lane 3. Lepage, the double gold medalist at the Junior Worlds last year. Less than 50 meters to go. The lead is Kelsey Wog by about a half a second still over Sydney Pickram. Does Pickram have something in the tank?
Pickram is picking up her stroke rate. This will be very interesting. She had a great turn, did Sydney Pickram in lane 5. All right, it's these 2 women. I don't think anybody can get back to them. Can they get to that time? Oh, now Kelsey Wog is picking up her cadence.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be a battle in lanes 4 and 5 right now. Pickram looks like she has a slight lead. Back comes Kelsey Wog. The time to beat 2:23.91 for the Olympic qualifier. Could they both do it? Here they come. And they both do it. And the winner is Wog. Pickram comes second, 1/100th of a second behind. What a race.
And only 1/10 of a second ahead of the standard. Whoa, they cut it a bit close there. Thank God they had each other in the race. Really, if you think about it, they found an extra gear those last 15 meters because each one of them was there pushing each. The reason they made this Olympic qualifying cutoff time is because they pushed each other to get there. I think it's a little bit of excitement. I think it's a little bit of relief, particularly for this woman here, Sydney Pickram. She had a fantastic line the other day. She goes, progress is not linear, and she has been up and down.
So my mistake, it was Pickram first by 100th over Wog in second.
But this is one of those meets where it doesn't matter if you're first or second. You just got to get the time and get your name to go to Paris. Going down the first lane, Kelsey Waugh very controlled the first 50, unlike this morning when she pushed it a little bit quicker. And then she made a good move in the middle of the 4-lap race. And then at the very end, it was this woman here that was starting to pick it up. Again, this is Sydney with her long. Look at how wide her kick is. Extremely wide kick. You've got to have very good thigh muscles to be able to force the legs back there when it's that wide. Now here's where they're both picking it up to the end. And Sydney just timed the wall just a hair better, and that got her. Whoa, nice overhead view. You can see Sydney's really ahead, Kelsey's really ahead, but she had to glide towards the end. Sid took a short, quick stroke, and that got her there 100th faster. But again, more importantly, both of them got under the standard. That's the big deal.
And there's the official, just 100th of a second separating Pickram and Wog, and they are both have the OQT beside their names. Well done.
Congratulations, ladies. You both got qualified to be nominated in the 200 breast. Congrats. Kelsey, your second Olympic team. How do you feel about that performance?
Yeah, it feels really good to be under the standard, especially after the little bit of a disappointment in the 100. So I'm glad to have put together a race I did.
Sydney, your third Olympic team. How do you feel about that performance?
I'm just relieved. It's been a really stressful week in general. I think waiting till the end, towards the end of the meet is hard. I've always looked up to Hillary Caldwell. She always had that in the two back. So I'm just happy to be here, happy to have done the job. I think that's all you have to focus on here and deal with all the stress and emotions. I think I cried every single day of taper, so I'm really happy to have done the job here.
Well, congratulations to the both of you. So you both get to sign your name on the boarding pass. Finally, congrats.
Toronto, put your hands together.
Always
for
memorable
Sydney
in the interviews is Sydney Pickram. Some really, really memorable, and some just memorable. But always fun to listen to Sydney Pickram and how she approaches the sport, and she wears her emotions on her sleeve, I think, Byron.
Well, she certainly does. She even came out with another great quote. She said, "The Olympic blues are reality. Post-Tokyo was the toughest year of my life." And she's had some up and downs, but she came back in this past fall, got back on track, and now she gets to go to her third Olympic Games.
Next event in the pool could see a shot at another Canadian record. We will wait and see, but in the middle of the pool, Ilya Haroun holds it already, and he was holding something back in the heats, I think, earlier today.
Lane 9 will be Harrison Smith, 17 years of age, actually out of Louisville, Kentucky, a dual citizen. Now you've got Hayden Gouffran, 20 years of age. He's actually out of Sacramento, California, also a dual citizen. Jordy Vilches out of Barrie, very busy man. He's already been in 3 finals, 3 different events. He's made the top 8 in the A final. Michael Sava, 21 years of age, U Sport National Champion in 2023, aiming for med school in 2 years at the University of Toronto. Patrick Hussey, 23 years of age, was 3rd in this race. 3 years ago, he's already on the Olympic team. He made the 4x200 freestyle relay. Benjamin Lowen out of the Toronto area, the Crescent Town team, University of Toronto, national champ in the summer of 2023. On the junior Penn Pac team in 2022. Bill Donfang out of Victoria, training mate with Ben Lowen at University of Toronto. He was at the World Juniors where he finished 5th. Kevin Zhang was also at the World Juniors. He's from the University of Waterloo, studying computer science with Coach Jackie Beckford-Henrique. Max Malakovics, born in northern Russia, went to Sweden, went to USA, and settled on Canada when he was 7 years old. Ilya Haroun, his parents are in Cirque du Soleil. They started in Montreal, where he was born, moved to Las Vegas, where he grew up and trained, and he won the NCAA gold medal this year in the 200-meter butterfly. He is definitely the breakout swimmer of the year for Canada in 2023. and he is a man to watch in the butterfly events.
As we mentioned, he holds that Canadian record of 1:53.82. And when he did that, he did the last 50 meters in 29.15. That was at the final of the World Championships, and no one else could touch him. Unfortunately, he was 8th beginning that lap and wound up tied for 4th. Underway in the men's 200-meter butterfly, 4 lengths of the pool. Internationally, this is the Christoph Milak event. It used to be the Michael Phelps event and the Chad Leclos event.
And what we mean by that is Christoph Milak owned this race for the last few years, but he's actually gone into a little bit of a recession right now in his training and his approach, and he said, I've hit rock bottom. So I don't know if we're going to see the defending Olympic champion and world record holder at the Olympic Games, but we're going to see Ilya Karun challenge his Canadian record if he can keep up this pace. Notice how long he is underwater right there. Great turn.
0.4 of a second faster than his Canadian record time in that first 50. He has got a full body length lead. The battle for second between Kevin Zhang and Max Malekovitz. And then a bunch of others, Byron.
Harun's best time is about 4 seconds faster than everybody else in the field, so he should have several body lengths on everyone. And it's going to be a question of can Harun get to his record and who's going to win the medals of all the other boys in this race.
He's more than half a second under his own Canadian record time and continues to lengthen the gap.
Well, one of his training mates all winter was a guy named Leon Marchand, who's favored to challenge for the gold medal in this race at the Olympic Games. So he's learning and training against the best.
Watch the clock. His split at the Canadian record was 1:24.7. He is again more than half a second under it, and the crowd begins to get on its feet.
This is a world-class time. If he gets down to the Canadian record, that'll be the fastest time done in the world this year. Big battle for second. It looks like lane 3, Kevin Zhang, and lane 5, Max Malekovitz are in the favorite in the driver's seat.
Here comes Ilya Harun, the Canadian record, 1:53.82. And he's just over at 1:54.41. Really good time. Who gets second? It is Zhang, and then Malekovitz in third. 1:54.41 for Harun. And that is one of the 10 fastest times in the world this year.
He actually doesn't look very tired. I think he could do another one. Turns out that's the second fastest time in the world this year for Ilya Harun. Now, that being said, the Americans haven't had their trials, the Australians haven't had their trials, the Germans haven't had their trials. So there will be some more times to come, no question about it. But that's still putting your name in the discussion for the medals when you get to Paris, Ilya Harun. Good and steady. Watch the head when he comes up. Not a lot of excessive movement. Just come up, take a breath, and back down. Not looking to the side. Good and steady all the way. Now, we talked about his turn. Watch when he goes in. A little bit too deep going into the wall there. That probably cost him a few tenths. But underwater, streamlined, nice and powerful kick. Not too powerful, nice and flowing. Saves the energy. And then up he comes on this last leg. Right to the wall. Perfect. World-class butterfly. The 100 butterfly is still to come, and Harun is working on his sprinting, so we could see him again racing Josh Liendo in the 100-meter butterfly.
No. I guess, yeah. So Ilya Harun, 1:54.41, gets the Olympic qualifying standard and takes the Canadian title.
Congratulations, Ilya. You just got qualified to be nominated in your first Olympic team. How do you feel right now?
Very happy and tired. It's a really great honor. I mean, first time Olympic trials. I'm pretty happy to be here.
And what are you going to be working on in the next few months leading up to Paris?
Definitely just technique and pace, just everything to get my fly working to beat those big guys.
Well, you get to sign your name on the boarding pass, and I think you also have the 50 free tomorrow, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, good luck for that and congrats again.
Thank you. Yeah, sign that ticket, Ilya. Well, just to give you a sense of how quick that was, they're just saying in the house, that time would have been quick enough for the bronze medal in Tokyo in 2021. Only Krzysztof Milak and Tomoru Honda from Japan would have been ahead of him. So, and he's still got 3 months to prepare and do a full taper for the Olympic Games in Paris.
Now boarding for the women's para 200 individual medley.
Shift back to the para events, and this will be a really interesting event because we've got 6 different para categories. You see the SMs beside their names. We begin in lane 9 with Clemence Perret from Boucherville, Quebec. She's an SM5, a 21-year-old. She'll need to go 3:39.9.
Ella Tucker will have lane number 0.
And Byron, she set a Canadian record in the first heat today, and then this woman beat it in the next heat.
Good rivalry again. We saw that in women's 200 breaststroke. You get rivalry, you push both people push each other. There's Danielle Doris, an SM7, 21 years of age, of Moncton, New Brunswick. She won the gold medal and set a world record at the Tokyo Paralympics. This woman is a veteran of the national team, over 10 years. Won a silver in Rio back in 2016. Originally out of Caledon, Ontario. She's already made the team with a good swim earlier in the meet. Katerina Roxanne has been named provisionally to the team. It will be her 5th Paralympics, counted 5th, 31-year-old from Newfoundland. Mary Jibb, SM9, out of Muskoka in Ontario. Have lane number 6. Angela Marina will have lane number 3. She's an SM14, 25 years of age, out of Brantford. She was 6th in Tokyo in her other favorite event, the 200-meter freestyle. Maxime Levitt, out of the University of Manitoba, was 4th in the 100-meter butterfly earlier in these trials. Lane number 4, the middle lane, Jamie Cosgrove, SM10, 18 years of age, out of Oakville. Newcomer, her first international competition was the World Para Championships last year when she finaled in the 100 fly and the 100 back. She's already made the team because of her great swim earlier at the trials in the butterfly. And I keep saying made the team. As I said, they do have to list all the qualifiers, and if there's more than 15 women, they'll have to rank them, but Cosgrove's ranking and Rutliff's ranking were so high, I'm sure that they will probably be named to the team.
So again, 6 different Paralympic qualifying standards being chased here. Technically, you could have all the athletes get under it, or none of the athletes get under it. It all depends. And we're underway in the women's para 200-meter individual medley. 4 lengths of the pool. The lanes in the middle in lanes 4 and 5. Jamie Cosgrove and Maxine Lavin should finish quicker than the others. But again, it's about racing the clock and racing maybe the others in your own category.
Well, for example, if Jamie Cosgrove wants to qualify in this event, the time to qualify is 2:32. And right next to her, Maxine Levitt in lane number 5, although a different category, her time is 2:30.09. So they're very close. So arguably, if they're both close to each other and they're close to that time, that would help. 50 meters butterfly, 50 meters backstroke, 50 meters breaststroke, and 50 meters butterfly freestyle on the end. We saw 150-meter individual medley for lower numbered classifications yesterday, where they actually dropped the butterfly and they went the backstroke, the breaststroke, and the freestyle.
Well, it shouldn't be a surprise that Cosgrove is leading, because in that butterfly she set a Canadian record earlier this week. Now they're going to switch to breaststroke.
Sort of in the pool, in the ranking, not knowing exactly where they are at this point with different categories, but lane number 5 is moving up. Maxine Lavett.
I can tell you this.
Lane number sorry, it's lane 3 and 4. It's Angela Martin and Jamie Cosgrove that are in the race. Lane number 5 is trying to get back into the screen. That's Maxine Levitt. She's an SM13.
There's so many different races within the races going on here. Lanes 0 and 9 are racing each other. Tess Rutleff, don't forget about her. 4 medals at the Worlds last year. She is in lane 7. And now we're going to get to the leaders are going to touch and do the freestyle leg. And it is Jamie Cosgrove who came through 150 and 158.73. We'll watch the clock for her because she needs to get under 2:32.10.
Second spot is in lane number 3, Angela Marina, and now moving up in lane number 5. Might be passing Marina in lane number 5 is Maxine Levitt. Maxine Levitt's goal time is also 2:30. So these women a lot of them are trying for the 2:30, and they're getting close, a little bit over it.
Let's watch Cosgrove looking for that 2:32 just outside it. And then Marina and Levitt in at 2:37 and 2:38 and change. Then we had Mary Jibb in lane 6. And we had Katarina Roxon in lane 2, that is. So still races within races going on out there. Here comes Danielle Doris in touching. She was looking for a time of 3:10.43, and she's got it.
She does have it. She made the time in lane number 1, Danielle Doris. Nice, there we are. The big scoreboard is down at the other end of the pool. That's what the athletes are looking at, where it ranks everybody, has everybody's time.
So the last 3 who are racing gives you a sense of how even they are because they're all SM5 categories. Hare in 9, Willette in 8, and Tucker in 0.
And we should mention that Tess Rutleff, who was in lane number 7, SM7, she also made the qualifying time in this event. So that's Clemence Perret in lane number 9. Anna Willette is the lane right next to her, coming towards the bottom of the screen in lane number 8. Good battle.
It is a good battle. Right now it is lane 8, Hannah Willette
from Saskatoon,
who broke the Canadian record earlier today. That time was 4:23.06, and she breaks it again by 4 seconds. And then it's Clemence Perret, and then it's Ella Tucker. Tucker was virtually the same as she swam in the heats earlier today. So we had races within races, races against the clock, and races against Paralympic qualifying standards. And some of them reached them.
There's Jamie Cosgrove, pulled away from the field in the breaststroke. Out of Oakville, as we said, she's a newcomer to the national para team. Now she took that lead into the freestyle and did not relent. Jamie Cosgrove in lane number 4. Down in the bottom in lane 3 is Marina trying to move up with a great battle with Maxine Levitt to finish in 2nd. But right now, Jamie Cosgrove to the wall. These women were all over the standard, the first 3 here. The ones that finished 5th and 6th, the SM7s actually were under the standard to qualify. Rutleff has already qualified earlier.
All right, let's send it down poolside for one of our qualifiers.
Congratulations, Tess. A qualifying time for the Paralympic team and a Canadian record. How do you feel about that?
I'm really happy with that race. I mean, it's a PB by 3 seconds almost, I'd say, and so it's exactly what we came here to do.
And I mean, with that, what is going to be your goal for Paris? Because you already made a PB of 2 seconds. I mean, what's going to be your strategy for the next few months?
I think we still have a lot of work to do, and we can keep going under 2:54 next time.
Well, I'll for sure be watching the Paralympics this summer, and I'll be cheering for you. So you already got your standby pass from Air Canada, so congrats again.
Congratulations. You just held up the new Canadian record. That's what I am.
Well, so much going on in that race, and in the middle of it, Tess Rutliff qualifies and breaks the Canadian record.
There are a lot of these women that train in Montreal. There are a lot of para athletes. There's a very strong Swim Canada National Para Center at the Montreal Olympic Pool, and Tess Rutliff is one of them. She actually is a student at the University of Laval, but she does do a lot of training at the National Center, is my understanding.
Well, there's your final result. The points on the far right, and that shows you Rutliff was closest to the world record in essence, and the world rankings. So 1,023, then Doris, and then the field as you saw it. Next event in the pool, the men's para 200-meter individual medley. This will have 6 athletes battling for times and standards and qualifying, and who knows, records may be on the line.
There's Charles Gimicelli, SM7 out of the Hamilton area. He won the 50-meter butterfly earlier in this. Zach Zona out of Waterford, Ontario, just about an hour outside of Hamilton. 10 years on the national team. He's 25 years of age. His breakout was at the Para Pan Ams here in this pool in 2015. Reed Maxwell, we've seen him set 2 Canadian records already. Maybe we'll see another one. He's only 16 years of age out of Edmonton. Fernando Liu will have lane number 3. He's out of Langley, BC. He's also only 16 years of age. Alexander Elliott, an SM10, 27 years of age, out of Kitchener, Ontario. There's Nicholas Bennett, SM14, coached by his sister Haley, represents the Red Deer Catalina Swim Club. At the World Championships last summer, he swam the 200 IM and the 100-meter backstroke.
And won the gold. That's pretty impressive. Originally out of Parksville, BC on the island, and these days training in Saskatchewan with his sister. Putting all the trust in your sibling. You don't hear about that very often. Nicely done, though. It's worked out well.
It certainly has worked out extremely well. He was 7th at the Tokyo Paralympics in the IM, but he was in the top 8 in 4 events in total.
Nicholas Bennett hit the qualifying standard today, was under it by about 4.5 seconds. He'll try to do that again. He was only 1800ths off of the world record in his swim earlier today. Men's para 200-meter individual medley. Lane 2, Zach Zona. Lane 3, Fernando Liu. Lane 4 is Nicholas Bennett. 5 is Alexander Elliott. 6 is Reed Maxwell. And Charles Gimicelli is in lane 7. Off to the butterfly, off quickly, especially Bennett and Liu and Elliott. So the classes, of course, separated. The lower numbers suggest, so if it's in this case, and the lowest number in the field is an S7, you would expect that qualifying time to be the slowest. The highest number in this race, an SM14, Nicholas Bennett, you would expect that time to be the fastest, and it is. And Nicholas Bennett is flying here in the backstroke.
He's got a great stroke. I like it. He's got good leverage. He hits the wall. He's got a very, very strong pull. Nice turn.
He hits the wall in 1:00:86. You remember, he was the gold medalist in this event, one of his 3 medals at the World Championships.
Attacking it.
Again, just to give a little more insight on the classes, categories 1 through 10 are physical disabilities. Categories 11, 12, and 13 are vision impairments, and 14 is intellectual disability. Nicholas Bennett is an SM14, and he is on a really quick pace, 1:35.78 through 1:50, bringing it home now in the freestyle. The world record, remember, is 2:07.50, held by Brazil's Gabriel Bandeira. Can Nicholas Bennett take a crack at it? a new world record. And then here comes Alexander Elliott, and he's going to touch in 2:17.26, and he's gone under the standard as well by 1400ths. In third place was Fernando Liu in 2:20.30, just off the Paralympic qualifying time. Then comes Reed Maxwell in lane 6.
Zach Zona comes into the end here, the SM8 swimmer. And over there in lane number 7, you got Charles Michel touching the wall.
Wow, what a swim for all the swimmers, particularly for Nicholas Bennett.
His freestyle coming home was superb. That's how he got under that world record. It looked like he was going to be right close to it, and then he just destroyed it.
Came home in 30.19, Byron.
I mean, excellent freestyle. Good butterfly stroke. Doesn't breathe every single stroke. A lot of the athletes are learning to be able to do that. I like this backstroke, as I said. Nice and steady. We watched yesterday Summer McIntosh. Her breaststroke had improved, and that's why she broke the world record. His breaststroke looks very good. I think it's better than the last time I saw it. And the freestyle, he got a little bit short towards the end on his pole, but he still had enough power to send him there, and I think it just dawned on him, he's got the world record.
I think he had a pretty good idea. It might be going down.
Sets him up for a real good run in Paris.
Nicola Bennett, gold, and a world record. Wow.
Congratulations, Nick, a new world record. How do you feel right now?
I don't think I have words right now just to explain how absolutely amazing this feels for myself. This is just, I don't think it's hit yet, to be honest.
I mean, that's going to be such a momentum for the next few months leading up to Paris. What are you going to be working on for the next few months?
Of course, the backstroke's a little weak, I'd say. So Haley's just going to have to grind that out with me.
Well, congratulations again. You already got your standby pass from Air Canada, and we have a new Alexander Elliott who also got his standby pass from Air Canada, so congratulations.
Once again, put your hands together for a new world record for Nicholas Bennett.
So world record for Nicholas Bennett and a standby pass to Paris for Alexander Elliott. He needed to get under 2:17.40, and he got 2:17.26.
It doesn't matter by how little, it matters if you make it. And Alex Elliott has put himself in contention to go to Paris for the Paralympics.
We'll fix that in the editing suite later, Byron.
Yes.
Stay in your seats, folks. We've still got our medal presentation coming up in just a few moments. Following that, we'll have our B and junior finals as well as some great prizes from Speedo and Aeroplan.
Demeurez dans vos sièges et parmi nous. Il nous reste encore la présentation des médailles pour les finales A. Par la suite, nous aurons les finales B, les finales juniors. Nous avons aussi de très bons cadeaux de la part de nos commanditaires Air Canada et Speedo. Accueillons maintenant nos médaillés du 100 mètres libre masculin junior. Let's now welcome our medalists for the junior men's 100 free. Les médailles seront présentées par Tehani Mott, membre du conseil d'administration de Natation Canada. Medals will be presented by Tehani Mott, member of Swimming Canada's Board of Directors.
Bronze medalist.
La médaille de bronze.
From the Kingston Bloom Islands, Benjamin Winterbourne. Silver medalist.
La médaille d'argent.
University of Calgary Swim Clubs, Lon Kim. Gold medalist.
La médaille d'or.
University of Calgary Swim Clubs, Paul Dardis. Congratulations to our medalists in the junior boys 100 free.
Félicitations à nos médaillés. Accueillons maintenant nos médaillés du 200 mètres d'eau féminin junior. Let's now welcome our medalists for the junior women's 200 backstroke.
Bronze medalist.
La médaille de bronze.
Rina Liu. Silver medalist.
La médaille d'argent.
From Etobicoke Swimming, Delia Lloyd. Gold medalist.
La médaille d'or.
From the Brock Niagara Aquatic Club, Madison Krieger. Congratulations to our medalists in the junior girls 200 backstroke.
Félicitations à nos médaillés. Accueillons maintenant nos médaillés du 800 libre masculin junior. Let's now welcome our medalists for the junior men's 800 free. Les médailles sont présentées par Don Wilson, secrétaire et membre du conseil d'administration de Natation Canada. Medals will be presented by Don Wilson, secretary and member of Swimming Canada's board of directors.
Bronze medalist.
La médaille de bronze.
From the Markham Aquatic Club, Max Vorobiev. Silver medalist.
La médaille d'argent du Club aquatique Montréal, Simon Fonseca.
Gold medalist.
La médaille d'or.
From the Kelowna Aquajets, Aiden Kirk. Congratulations to our medalists in the boys junior 800 freestyle.
Félicitations à nos médaillés. Accueillons maintenant nos médaillés du 800 mètres libre masculin. Let's now welcome our medalists, the men's 800 free.
Bronze medalist.
La médaille de bronze.
Kieran Watson. Silver medalist.
Médaille d'argent.
Point Clareson Club, Eric Brown. Gold medalist.
La médaille d'or de Neptune Natation, Timothée Barbeau.
Congratulations to our medalists in the men's 800 freestyle.
Our next medal presentation is about to happen. They'll be for the para performances tonight. The one that is going to stand out, I think, for everybody, Byron, is that world record swum by Nicholas Bennett in the 200-meter individual medley when he came home in 30 to break the world record by
over a second
and a half. Yeah.
And in his interview there, he said, I need to work on my backstroke. I was going, I think it looks better than it did last year. So he's obviously working on it, but he needs more work.
Well, we were asking the question earlier tonight. I wonder if Anna Mae Pierce, the Canadian breaststroke record holder, is in the house. And she is. She just tapped us on the shoulder with hockey legend Sammy Joe Small hanging out together. So that was pretty cool to see. This was quite a battle earlier tonight in the women's para 50-meter backstroke. Nikita Enns and Ali Van Wyk-Smart were chasing that Paralympic qualifying time and just barely missed it, did Nikita Enns, who is the Canadian record holder. So the team announcement for both Olympic and Paralympic will happen Sunday after the final events. That's when all the tallying will be done and the last-minute decisions will be made, but most of the stuff is happening in the pool, Byron.
Well, it certainly is. I mean, in order to get yourself considered, you've got to obviously consider the time that the Paralympic people have set up. But depends how many. If there's only 13 or 14, then obviously they all go. If there's 20, then you've got to rank them because you're only allowed 15 spots. Canada's been allowed allotted 15 spots in the women and 7 spots in the men. So we'll have a better feel for it probably by tomorrow then there'll only be 1 day to go. So we'll have a feel how many there have been that have made it.
Just to give you a sense of how Canada does on the international level, they were 7th at the World Championships in the gold medal hunt last year, and that was in large part because of the likes of the Nicholas Bennetts and the Orly Rivards and the Danielle Dorises and etc. Well, a man who's become accustomed to being up there and setting personal best, lifetime best.
And winning gold medals.
Winning gold and qualifying, getting under the qualifying time, Sebastian Masabi. The only one who's close to his fame is his mom.
That's right.
It's been front and center through much of them. Well, she's not as... He's a little more famous, I guess, but she might be the most famous mom in the house. There she is. One of them, and maybe the most proud mom in the house, although some others would argue that, I'm sure. Byron was going through the world rankings for the 200-meter women's breaststroke today, and the name on the very top of the list was Tatjana Smith. And I had to do a double take for a second there. And of course, that's South African who we normally know as Tatjana Schoenmaker, who's
got married.
Yeah. So, but I thought that's when your name, and I know this because my last name is a tricky one, it's hard for people to spell. So she had the chance to change it from a tricky one to spell to Smith. She went for it.
Yes, she certainly did. I know that caught me by surprise too. And then all of a sudden the press release came out. Yes, I was married a month ago and I've changed my last name. But she is swimming like Tatjana Schoenmaker always swam.
Yes.
She is swimming top.
Yes.
She's peaking right at the right time. She kind of went down a little, possibly because she was getting married and had a few other things to organize. And
our 100-meter.
This is your 100-meter freestyle medal ceremony. Penny in the middle, Brooklyn Doothright on the right from New Brunswick. On the left, Mary Sophie Harvey. Those 3 women will be 3 of the 4 that have been named for the 4x1. Now we do have to mention that just because you're named for there's Brooklyn. You're named now, you get to go over there. Doesn't necessarily mean that you will be on the relay. The coaches get to make up their mind as to who's on the relay and when they're on the relay. And obviously, Maggie McNeil has been a steady member of that relay. Now, the opening day is the 100 butterfly as well, so Maggie McNeil won't swim the preliminary section. They'll have to make a philosophical decision. Do they have one of the swimmers from the prelims not get to swim the finals later that evening?
What a week it's been for Mary Sophie Harvey. She seems like she's really taken the next step. And a nice return to greatness performance here by Penny Oleksiak. At a time of 53.66, her fastest time of the year. She needed 53.61, 500ths away to qualify for the 100 final. How does that work, Byron? Is there a chance that she could swim in it? I'm just going to throw that out there.
There is, because there is a B standard, and I'm not exactly sure where Swim Canada stands on it, but there is a chance that she could swim that event. More importantly, she's obviously going. She's part of the relay for sure, and probably she's right now the fastest swimmer. She'd be on the medley relay as well. But remember, Taylor Ruck was 4th there. She doesn't get a medal, but she gets named to the team. And Taylor has been swimming lights out on the relays in February at the World Championships, last summer at the World Championships. So you've got another great swimmer there, and you've got to make the decision amongst them. Because if you put together the right relay on the right day with all of those women firing, they have a chance to maybe get the bronze medal. At the gold medals, the Aussies will be about 2 body lengths out in front. The Americans look like they're getting enough sprinters now. Canada has beaten the Americans over the last few years, but they're starting to get their sprinters lined up, so I'm not so sure they can take them down. It'll be between Canada and the Chinese quartets.
Well, this was the event that we had the tie for 3rd tonight. And the bronze medal position in the men's 200-meter backstroke. And it was also where we had the Olympic qualifying time reached by Blake Tierney, who is going to double up in Paris.
And the guys on the right are the guys that tied. That's Ethan Eck, new swimmer swimming in Canada. He's a dual citizen. He first sort of made his foray up here recently, and he gets to the podium. Pretty good job.
Only 17 years of age, too, Byron.
He's a young guy, and he's got a real good future. He tied Aiden Norman right there. There's Aiden. I don't know if you saw it a second ago, but Ethan was trying to get up on his tiptoes because Aiden is 6'7". He's a big young man.
And Ethan's not small.
There's Hugh McNeil. He was youth sport swimmer of the year this year for the University of British Columbia Thunderbirds. National champion in the 50, 100, and 200-meter backstrokes. He's a silver medalist here.
Well, and the smallest man in the group, showing that you don't have to be 6'7" around there, because Blake Tierney has had an outstanding meet, and he had a brilliant time tonight to qualify for consideration for the team, and we suspect he'll be racing in the 200 and the 100 backstroke.
A lot of the backstrokers are tall and lean. Blake Tierney says, yeah, well, I broke the mold.
And look at my time, 1:56.74.
Right. I'm the best. I'm the top dog today.
Well, if you think of the international level, only one Canadian has ever won a medal in this event, and that was in 1984 in Los Angeles, and that was Cam Henning.
Cam Henning out of Edmonton.
Shout out to Cam if he's watching, or his family.
And his coach is here, coaching the Cascade team now, Dave Johnson. Well, these are the happy women that have qualified. Alex Lepage didn't qualify. You're only allowed 2 qualifiers. You're only allowed 2 entries in an event. Unlike track and field, it's allowed 3. You're only allowed 2 in swimming, so only 2 get to go. Alex Lepage has got a great future ahead of her. Your world junior champion in the 100 and 200-meter breaststroke last summer. That's 18 and under category. So she's going to be she'll be on the scene for years to come. But these 2 women are on the scene now. They get to go to the Olympic Games and swim the 200-meter breaststroke. Kelsey Wog on the left. There she is. And Sydney Pickeram on the right, who grew up in Dunedin, Florida. Her dad was a hockey player, settled in Florida. And she said, that's where I was born and grew up, and that's where the Blue Jays play spring training baseball. She now lives in Texas.
Family connections on the East Coast as well, as I understand.
To Halifax, that's where originally the family started.
Look at those times, 2:23.79, 2:23.80, both with the OQT beside them, and Alexandre Lepage, the teenager of the University of Calgary swim team. And we've had one Canadian win a medal in this event, Byron, and she has a pool named after her about 40 kilometers from here, and that's Ann Ottenbright.
1984. And while we've got a minute, I might as well tell a little story, and that is that Ann Ottenbright luckily went over to Germany in February of Olympic year, swam a world-class, very elite time under the sort of the consideration time that Swim Canada was looking at, and then tripped and fell about, I think it was 2 weeks, 3 weeks or before the trials, and her knee blew up like a balloon, and she couldn't swim in the trials. And Swim Canada, in their wisdom, said, you know what? She might be better in 6 weeks when the Olympics roll around. We're going to name her provisionally, but in case she can't swim, and we'll make the decision sort of as we get really close, we'll name 2 girls, 2 young women to the team, and the one has to agree that if Anne is okay, she's going to have to step down. Wow. Well, of course, she gets to go to the Olympics. So, you know what? If you don't get to swim, at least you were named to the Olympic team. And that's exactly what happened. And sure enough, 5 weeks later, Anne Ottenbright's knee was 100%. They entered her. She swam. She won a gold, silver, and a bronze medal. Gold medal in the 200-meter breaststroke, and 2 more medals. So, great decision. I think my recollection is the only swimmer never to swim in the trials that was named to the team.
Well, that's why people tune in, Byron, to get that kind of gold. And then this kind of gold, too, as we will talk about the men's 200-meter butterfly. And Ilya Haroun will try to win Canada's first ever medal at the Olympic Games this year.
Well, handing out the medals is Zach Shetrad. He won a silver medal here in this very pool at the Pan Am Games. I know Zach very well. He was the captain of my team at the University of Toronto. Tremendous team guy, tremendous athlete, tremendous hard worker as well. There's Max, got the bronze medal. There's Kevin Zhang, University of Waterloo swimmer. Doing a great job. He was on the World Junior team last summer. Silver medal here. Now, because these guys finished second and third, they actually get considered to go to the World Championship short course in December. The rule was you had to be a medalist. And Ilya Haroun way up in front of these guys, but not very far behind some of the best butterflyers in the world. Watch for him in Paris.
Congratulations to our medalists in the men's 200 butterfly.
And there's that time, 1:54.41. We double-checked our facts, and it looks like it is the 4th fastest time in the world this year. Ilya Haroun swam it earlier tonight in a blistering fast 200-meter butterfly time.
The silver and bronze medalists both did a lot of their swimming at the Etobicoke Swim Club. I think we're getting ready for the B finals now.
Before we get there, Byron, I want to say something about you, and that is congratulations to your University of Toronto swim team sweeping the national title at U Sports this year.
Thank you very much. It was very enjoyable.
Well, great job recruiting and great job coaching, obviously.
Yeah, the swimmers worked very hard.
Let's meet our next group of Canadian champions. This was in that 200-meter individual medley for para swimmers.
Two athletes making the cutoff times consideration. Danielle Doris and Tess Rutloff.
Danielle Doris, 4 medals at the World Championships last year. She won 4 at the World Championships last year. She's set a couple of Canadian records this week. 3 now, I think. 100 free, 100 breast, and now here in the 200 individual medley.
Standout in Rio, was injured and couldn't actually go to Tokyo, but swimming as well as she ever has is Tess Rutloff. Every time I see Tess, she's smiling.
Some familiar faces up here as well. So Alexander Elliott was one of the ones who had that provisional qualifying time as well. He finished third in terms of the points.
Silver medalist, Canadian record, Reed Maxwell.
Reed Maxwell, third event at these para trials. Third Canadian record, third national record for him. And he was so good in one of the earlier events that he's made the qualifying time, so he should be off to Paris.
The red deer captain with a new S14 world record in the 200 individual medley, Nicholas Bennett.
Yeah, that's a world record smile right there. Nicholas Bennett, training in Red Deer. He was gold at the World Championships. But tonight, he was a world record holder, a world record setter to the delight of the crowd. And he crushed it. He went 2:05.97. The old record was 2:07.50. That's more than a second and a half. You kind of got the sense, we talked about it in our opening, Byron, that he was close to it. He was milliseconds away, and who knew what was going to be in store for the final, but he nailed it. And he knew too, as soon as he hit the wall, he pulled off those goggles, spun around, looked at the clock, and
and the good news is that there weren't a lot of competitors here. He could have gone easier in the morning, preliminaries, didn't, but that's going to serve him well in Paris at the Paralympics, because you can't go easy at the Paralympics in the preliminaries. You got to work hard to get into the final. So it's a nice thing that the sort of premise that all the athletes are doing here in the para events, even though there aren't a lot of them in it, and you could get to the final anyway, they're rehearsing. They're rehearsing. They're going hard in the prelims and hard in the final.
That should help. You're absolutely right. That absolutely should help. All right, we move on with the program. The judges finding their way back into their seats, and we're going to see Ethan Eck's sister Isabella in this next race in the 100-meter B freestyle final.
Well, the woman in the middle of the lane there, in the middle of the pool, lane number 4, Emma Cronin, finished 4th in the 200-meter freestyle, a final, and the top 4 basically will get selected, it looks, and it appears, for the relay. So she will be going. She's originally out of Edmonton, is Cronin, now training at the National Center in Vancouver. Trying to get, she used to do the 400 and the 800, and she seems to have come down over the last couple years now to trying to get more speed in the 100 and the 200. 200 is more her strength. There she is. Right next to her in lane 5 is Stakavikas, who trains at the Etobicoke swim team, but she is actually from Lithuania and represents Lithuania internationally. There she is, only 16 years of age.
And we're underway in the women's 100-meter freestyle B final. Athletes ranging from 16 years of age to 21 years of age. It's a good start for the athlete in lane 3, Dylan Scholes, and a good start for the athlete in lane 2 as well, Hannah Cornish out of Port Perry, Ontario.
Hannah Cornish got a lot of speed. She's very good in the 50-meter freestyle, so we'll expect for her to go out like a shot. She represents the Uxbridge Aquatic Club, a good club, not too far from here.
And it is Scholes in 3, Cornish in 2, and then the middle lanes are starting to come on. It is Dylan Scholes, though, right now in that lane 3 on this side of the yellow markings. It's pretty even, though. Here comes lane 5 and Stakavičius, and it's going to be tight. It is Stakavičius in 55.88. And then Scholes, and then Christy Liang was 3rd. She was in lane 6. 55.88 winning time for Stakavičius.
Faster than, almost all these athletes were faster than they were in the morning, other than Cronin. Right there you can see in the middle, Scholes just got out touched there. You can just see Stakavičius getting in there. Although I have to admit, Stakavičius took a really short short stroke. She needed to lean probably with her other arm. Could have won by a little bit more. Dylan Scholes out of Oakville, now swimming for Markham. And now we have the junior final. This is for athletes 18 years of age and under. Julie Ebley, I can see, is in lane 0. She is a very, very accomplished cello player. Her dad is in the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. Teammate is in lane number 1. Mia West in lane number 2. Her mom was an Olympian. Lane number 4 is Jenna Walters. You'll see her walking and getting prepared to go. Jenna Walters' coach is Laura Nichols, the 96 Olympian for Canada, the 50-meter sprint champion. There she is. There's Jenna Walters. Swims out of the Guelph Marlin Aquatic Club.
Well, the athlete in lane 6, Reina Liu, is only 14, youngest in the field.
There she is.
Ladies and gentlemen, your finalists for women's 100 freestyle junior final.
Women's 100-meter junior freestyle final. 10 athletes in the field. Let's watch the middle lanes, 4 and 5. Walters and Lloyd. Walters is in 4, Lloyd in 5.
9 is at the top, 0 on the bottom. Those yellow markers you can see are right between the lane 4 and 5. Going out extremely quick is Delia Lloyd, the Etobicoke swimmer. I know the coach Ryan Millett was telling me she's got a lot of speed to burn, so she's trying to use it here and get out ahead of the field.
And she is ahead of the field in 26.9, just ahead of Walters. So it is those middle lanes.
And those two have best times that are actually significantly better than the rest of the field. But the rest of the field's not backing down. Lane number 6, that young 14-year-old is getting right up into the battle, it looks like.
Walters in 4, challenging Lloyd in 5. It is Walters taking a slight lead. Can she hold on in lane 4? What a finish this is. And Walters in 55.61. Then Liu, the 14-year-old, with that 55.87 time ahead of Lloyd in lane 5.
There's Lloyd right there. She finished up in 3rd spot. 14 years of age, going 55.8. Rihanna Liu, that is an amazing swim. This woman, this young lady, is going to be on the international scene before you know it. Right there, 55.8. That's a world-class time for a 14-year-old athlete, that's for sure. Jenna Walters wins. She used her experience to come back on that second length.
By the way, the 14-year-old Canadian record is held by none other than Penny Alexiak at 55.28. So she's in the range.
That's how impressive it is. She's not 6 feet tall like Penny was. Is. Men's 200-meter backstroke.
B final starts, and then we'll round it out with the junior final. They get the flags ready. Anybody catch your eye?
Well, in lane number 6, you've got Ricardo Camuso, and the reason I'm pointing it out is that as much as he didn't make the A final, he wouldn't have been allowed anyway, because at this meet, you're only allowed to be eligible to swim the Canadian team if you're in the A final. So you have to be eligible to swim for Canada. He is an Italian. He's from Milan, Italy. He goes to school at McGill. That's why he's got the M cap on him there. He's in lane number 6. Right next to him in lane number 5 is Carter Buck. These guys raced at the U Sport Championships. Carter Buck is from the London Aquatic Club, where he grew up, and now he's going to school in Toronto, majoring in engineering.
I love how good our crew is in the truck, Byron, because you mentioned someone's name and boom, the camera finds him.
Excellent job.
We've got 2 16-year-olds in the race. They are bookends. At the bottom of your screen, you'll have Alexandru Velachico, and then at the top, you'll have Lucas Morin, both 16. And we're underway in the men's 200-meter back B final. 4 lengths of the pool. This is where everybody tries to prove that they should have been in the A final that happened earlier tonight.
Very good point.
Really good start. And lane 5 for Carter Buck out of the Toronto Swim Club.
As we've seen, we watched in the A final, Blake Tierney went out very fast, and it was the right thing to do because he didn't die at the end. Sometimes when the swimmers go out very fast in the backstroke, believe it or not, as much as it looks like an easy stroke to do, if once your legs give out and they start to sink to the bottom of the pool, they become like anchors. So you've got to make sure that if you're going out fast, you're not doing it all on your legs. You've got to be a little bit more arm dominated. The question for Carter Buck is, he is going out real fast here. So he's going to have to make sure he's got another 100 meters in him to be able to come back. If so, he's going to have a good swim.
Everybody else is chasing his feet. It's going to be Carter Buck in 59.6 through 100 meters. And then Peter Cameron and Ricardo Camuso. Now it gets interesting. Let's keep an eye on lane 0, Velachico. He's hanging pretty good too.
Spot. That's right, he has. So lane number 5, yeah, lane number 5 lane number 4 next to Buck is Cameron. Again, another guy, he swims out of UBC. They raced each other at the U Sport National Championships. And turning in lane number 6 at this point is the Italian Camuso. And they're pretty well 1, 2, 3 at this point.
Wow, what a really nice turn that was in lane 5 by Carter Buck. He extended his lead significantly there.
Well, he's certainly going to go way faster than he did in the preliminaries, and it's one of those where you say, yeah, should have done that in the preliminaries, and he could have been in the A final.
And here comes Carter Buck in 2:03.43. Cameron second, Camuso in 3rd place.
Well, 2 seconds faster, Carter Buck, 2 seconds faster than he did in the preliminaries, so that's certainly down where he wanted to be originally. Didn't quite do it in the preliminaries. I'm just trying to look to see what it took to get into the A finals. There you go, there's your winner, Carter Buck. 2:03.4, took it out right from the beginning and didn't back down.
Yep, he would have been in one of the outside lanes in the B final, Byron.
Yes, he would have. He would have been
in the A final, rather.
Yes, he would have been in the A final. He would have qualified about 7th overall. Lesson learned. There are some athletes that have trouble waking up in the morning. I actually coach Carter Buck, and he's not one of them usually. Obviously, this morning just didn't quite put the race in that he needed to, but I've seen swimmers when they have to get ready for a 9:30 a.m. swim, get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, come to the pool and swim so that they can make sure. I've done it with athletes actually. Make sure that they are awake for the 9:30 swim.
Huh.
I have a phrase that I use: better to be a tired finalist than a rested spectator. And that way you've got to make sure you commit to get up. If you're a person that is a little bit off in the morning. Carter usually isn't. Today he was, but other athletes I've seen historically have that issue. You've got to solve it as an athlete and coach and figure out how to do it.
Well, and I got to ask, how many backstrokers do you have? Because that's so many that are part of your club or university. And
well, and it's like when Kylie Moss was swimming at the University of Toronto. She would bring in other backstrokers. So when you're a trainer, when you're an athlete, you're looking to see which teams have the athletes in your stroke, because then A, they can race, and B, maybe the program produces those athletes. So right now there's a lot of men's backstrokers out west at UBC. Other backstrokers may be interested in that. So
the junior final is next. And in the middle of the pool, we've got a couple of 16-year-olds, but this is obviously the junior final, so you'd expect that. Parker Deshays is in 4. He went in at fastest qualifier at 2:04.82.
Kalen Dong in lane number 3 is a twin. His brother is also swimming in this meet. They swim out of Etobicoke.
And we're underway in the men's 200-meter back junior final. I got to mention the man in lane 5. It's Francis Brennan. He is out of the Belleville Beast swim team. It's the first time I got to mention that this week. I want to shout out to the folks in Bell Vegas. So good start by the man in 4 and Parker DeShays.
Well, Parker had a great 100-meter backstroke. He made the final, so this is a breakthrough swim for him. And again, he might have been a little bit off in the morning preliminaries because he looks pretty good at this particular time in the race. It's a pretty blanket field behind him, though. I mean, there's not much between all 7 of the swimmers right behind him. Most meets usually only have 8 people in the final. This is a 10-lane pool. Even in this pool here, even for the Pan Am Games, there are only 8 in the final. So Canada made the decision to use all 10 lanes. So you got 10 guys in this final and all the races we've seen this evening.
And way up at the top in lane 8, Benjamin Winterborn is in 2nd place right now.
He swims out of Kingston, but he did move to what's called the Swim Academy. It's basically like a junior national center here at this very pool.
What a swim so far here for Parker DeShays. He is 2 body lengths ahead of anybody else.
Well, maybe he needed coffee this morning.
Benjamin Winterborn still in good position in 2nd, up in lane 8. And the time 1:30.9 for DeShays. He comes up well before everybody else. The battle for 2nd is real.
Good shot. You can see him right there. Backstrokers are a little bit different. They usually breathe actually almost every stroke because obviously it's easy to. You don't have to turn your head like freestyle. But he has not slowed down his cadence. Look at lane 8, Winterborn trying to make a move up on top and trying to catch him. He's going to run out of real estate.
He might, but he's sure giving it the old college try. They're going to fight to the wall. And it's going to be DeShays, then Winterborn, then Duong in 3rd, 2:03.17. And for DeShays, he will also wish he had done that this morning. That would have also put him in the final.
That's right. He would have been in the A final. Lessons learned. He's a young guy. He's only 16 years of age. He's going to get a lot better, and we'll probably see him in the A finals pretty soon. Mr. Winterborn, DSQ, disqualified. My guess, my prediction will be that on the start, he might have gone past 15 meters. You're only allowed to go past 15 meters. You're not allowed to go past 15 meters on the start or any turn. Usually it's the start
under the water.
Athletes underwater. Usually it's the athletes making a mistake on the start. The turn is pretty far to go underwater, 15 meters, but usually it's the start. And we don't get the information up here in time to relay it to you out there, but my guess is that's what it was.
Could have been anything on the flip turn.
The flip turns now in backstroke are very easy. You can turn over basically do a freestyle turn, so really they can't. There's nothing really to see there. So in the past, you used to have to do a backstroke turn by staying on your back, and people would try to press their luck and almost go past 190 degrees, and it wouldn't work.
Well, one of the big supporters of swimming in Canada and worldwide is Speedo, and that's the merch that's being thrown up to the fans. I'm waving like a crazy man here, Byron, but nobody's seeing me. But yeah, we certainly appreciate all the support of the spectator, or the spectators too, but the sponsors, Speedo among them. Air Canada, huge sponsor as well.
Spreading the wealth.
Well, we mentioned Air Canada, and now they're giving away some points, some Aeroplan points. How good is that?
10,000 Aeroplan points. That'll get you somewhere.
Meanwhile, we're getting ready for our next event in the pool. It will be the women's 200-meter breaststroke B final.
Well, and we have swimmers from all over the place. Catherine Ivanov goes to the University of Hawaii in lane 0. Amelia Barrow in lane number 1 is from Whitehorse in the Yukon. Certainly not very many swimmers come out of the Yukon. Lane number 3, Nefsi is from Algeria. That's your fastest qualified, Nina Kucheran. She's from Sudbury, Northern Ontario.
And we're underway in the women's 200 breaststroke B final. We'll start up at the top in lane 9, Winokur, then Strong, then Collins, then Kennett. Middle lanes are Spence in 5, Kucherin in 4, Nefsi, Banton, Barrow, Ivanov round out the field.
And in And lane number 5, kind of almost right there with lane number 4. Lane 4 is Kucheran, 23-year-old veteran. Lane number 5, Emma Spence, was your gold medalist at U Sport Championships in 2023 in this very event.
34.6.7 for Emma Spence out of lane 5. I find it so interesting, this event, Byron, as you see athletes take such different tactics. Some stay under for a long time, some are just popping up right away.
Breaststroke has probably got the most variety in types of strokes, no question about it. 200 breaststroke has changed over the last decade, where the athletes do like what Emma Spence is doing in the middle in lane number 5 there. One and a long glide. See the glide out in front like that? Part of that was for the turn there, but the first half of the race you're doing a long glide. You must have a great kick to do that. But if you can lengthen it out in the first 100, start to pick it up a bit on the third length, and then just go crazy on the last length.
Nina Kucheran, it was in second, but she has taken over the lead in lane 4. She is really turning it up. Out of the Sudbury Laurentian Swim Club.
Well, and unfortunately, the pool in Sudbury, named for the great Alex Bauman, who won a couple gold medals in 1984, under this great coach Yano Tahani. We saw an award being given out earlier in this meet for that amazing gentleman, the coach. But that pool has been closed. There's been problems up there. They haven't yet been able to reopen it. Nina's been swimming in the United States, going to school down there, but she is certainly the class of this field right now. She's got her turnover going really well. Emma Spence trying to get back to her, but solidly in second spot in this one, but it's Nina Kucheran all the way.
And then in lane 6, Brioni Kennett is actually trying to challenge Spence for second, but the leader is Kucheran, and she's going to make them proud up in Sudbury. Here she comes to the wall, long touch in 2:32.35. Spence in second, Kennett just under a half a second back in third place.
There's your winner. She was in this final actually 3 years ago. She was in the A final, I should say, 3 years ago. Now she's here and winning the B final.
Well, Byron, you've talked about the usefulness of these B finals. It really does help in the big scheme of things for athletes and coaches, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I mean, it's an expensive proposition to come to a meet like this. Even if you're from London, Ontario versus Vancouver, you're here for 7 days, but you're actually here for more because you're coming a couple days before the contest starts. So you're talking room and board, meals, travel time, travel cost, and if you didn't make the A final and that was it, it's kind of a long way to come, you know. And there's only so many, a handful that are going to make the A final. So now you have B finals. It's something for another. Probably 30 swimmers have a feeling they might be able to make that, and they're going to be motivated. And even for the young juniors that are here, they have no chance, some of them, most of them, to make the Olympic team, but they have a chance to get a second swim, get more experience. There are junior international teams, world championships for 18 and under, so it really gives them all a chance, and the more experience you get, the better.
Familiar name in the middle of the pool in lane 4, Tavasalo.
Her brother was second in the A final in the 200-meter breaststroke. Was challenging to try to make that time. Lane number 3, Keogh is from Seattle. There's Tavasalo. There's Barbier from lane number 5 from the Nanaimo Riptides.
I love that name.
Nanaimo Riptides.
My favorite team name so far.
Well, and Danielle, believe it or not, lane number 5 was what's now called artistic swimming. Used to be called synchronized swimming. She did that up until very recently and switched to pool swimming. And look at this, she's already in a junior final.
So we're underway in the 200-meter breaststroke junior final on the women's side. And a good start for the athlete in lane 1. That is Julia Nolan McCarthy out of Halifax.
She's the provincial record holder.
Haven't had a lot of, outside smoke. It'd be fun to see somebody win from one of those outside lanes.
Here comes lane number 3. Keogh looks like she might be taking a yes. She's first to the wall.
34.68 for Grayson Kehoe. 4 lengths of the pool, of course. Maintain that breaststroke form.
The rules in breaststroke have changed, one would say, dramatically over the years, because way back in the middle of the last century, the breaststrokers swam breaststroke like this a little bit differently. And then somebody said, well, there was no butterfly at the time. They said, well, why don't I recover my hands over the water? It's going to be quicker. And all of a sudden, everybody was doing that, so they had to create a new stroke, and that was the birth of butterfly in the 1950s.
So in lane 3, it is Kehoe, but way up at the top in lane 9, Haley West of the Manta Swim Club is having a really good swim.
And we have mentioned it before, but Haley West's mom was an Olympic team member in 1996 swimming this very event, the 200-meter breaststroke.
She came through 100 in 1:14.4 did Haley West. I'm not sure if anybody else sees her way over there.
I'm sure they don't.
It is Grayson Kehoe. And when they touch here, there'll be less than 50 meters to go. Kehoe shortening up here to touch. And she'll touch 150 in, 153.22. And no longer in second place was Haley West. She's dropped down to 4th. Second now, Tavasilo. And can the swimmers in 4 and 5 challenge Kehoe in 3? Yes, they can, because here comes Tavasilo, and she's got the lead.
And we talked about how you need to go nice and long, and then you need to pick up your cadence at the end, and both lane 4 and 5 are doing that. They're going to go right by lane number 3.
And this is a battle between 4 and 5. Tavasilo and 4 on this yellow marking is going to take it in 2:33.34. And then Barbary in 5, and then Kehoe in lane 3. 2:33.34 winning time for Kisa Tavasilo.
Very well-paced race. Nice job. I'm really impressed with lane number 5, Barbary. I mean, as I said, this woman was in artistic swimming up until very recently and has only started pool swimming. She had brilliant tactics there. That usually takes years to figure that out. She's already doing great tactical swimming. She's only 17 years of age.
4 seconds faster than she was in the morning, Byron.
Got a good future.
So here we go with the men's 200 butterfly B final.
We've got a bunch of international athletes here. In lane 2 is Elijah Daly. He trains out of Etobicoke, but he's from Bermuda, represents Bermuda. Lane 4, Kievo is out of Colombia. He did move to Montreal. And in lane number 4, Sebastian Lunak swims at the University of North Carolina. It's an American.
Would have been in the A final.
That's right, but he has to be, as we've said, you have to be Canadian to be in the A final. So here he is in the B final.
Here we go, men's 200-meter butterfly B final underway. And Byron, I love that story they talked about. The breaststrokers were deciding, I don't like, this is too slow, and they invented the butterfly. When was this again?
This is 1953-ish. And I'll put a postscript to that. The guy who won the very ever first gold medal in the 200 butterfly, 1956 Olympics, was a guy named Bill Yorzik out of Boston. And then when I started working at the University of Toronto, I said, well, wait a minute, the guy who holds the world record here, or the club record, team record, is Bill Yorzik. He's from the US. He said, but he came up to Canada to do his medical degree and swam in Canada for another 4 years.
Elijah Daly in lane 2 is having a good swim. He is challenging the man in lane 4, Sebastian Lunak.
Elijah Daly's sister is actually one of the top junior swimmers in the country.
Those two are 1 and 2 at 100 meters. Lunak in 57.7.
And then it's pretty well blanket between lane 7, 6, 5, 3 for third spot.
And now Lunak is extending his lead and extending his lead. Remember, he had that really quick time of 1:59.75 that would have put him in the A final. He stays under long time, finally comes up.
He should be able to get under 2 minutes again, which is a big barrier for these butterflies to try to get under 2 minutes. Lunak should do that. The other 5 that we mentioned are all coming after Mr. Daly now. He's getting a little short with his pole. The other guys are coming.
Elijah Daly trying to hold on to second place, but the leader, Sebastian Lunak, is going to touch in 1:59.25, faster than he was this morning. Who gets second? It is Daly holding on in 2:03.1, just ahead of Dagenet.
There's Victor Dagenet from Camo. So 2:03. Those guys are all significantly faster than they were in the morning preliminaries. That may be a symptom of what we're seeing tonight, that we're in day 5 here of these Olympic trials. All these guys have swum other races. They're maybe getting a little bit tired. But you asked me about the benefit of having a B final.
Yep.
All right, they're all going 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 seconds faster here in the B final. So they now know that the training is paying off. They just got to time it better.
Let's make some noise now for your men's 200 fly junior flyer.
Next and final event in the pool tonight is the men's 200-meter butterfly junior final.
Here come the athletes. Coming in underneath the Eiffel Tower. Lane number 5, Tristan Gouvier. Attends McGill University. There's Aiden Kirk from Kelowna.
A couple of 15-year-olds in this field. In lane 1 it is Leonardo Gomez, and in lane 6 is Anton Semenyak out of Gatineau. He could challenge here.
Yep.
Guys looking to put on a show in the final race of day 5 of the 2024 Olympic and Paralympic swimming trials presented by Bell, and they are underway in the men's 200-meter junior final. 4 legs to the pool in this butterfly final.
Lane 4, Kirk, who says, I want to go to med school eventually. He's only 16. He's got lots of time to plan that, but he was off the blocks a little bit slow on that start, but he's getting right back into the race at this point.
Hard to see from our angle who is in at lane 6. Looked like he was there first. Yes, Anton Semenyak, 27.0.
From Natation Gatineau, they were nice and cool in Gatineau. I mean,
Semenyak is actually extending that lead, the 15-year-old out of Gatineau, as he timed it right. He has got a half a body length lead, maybe more, as he touches 158.2 ahead of lane 3, which is Zachary McLeod. But it's tight for second.
It's real tight for second. Some of the athletes you'll notice are going to be breathing every stroke. Some of them are going to do what we call alternating, 1 up, 1 down. It's really a question of what they're used to. Michael Phelps started a bit changing in the butterfly. Most of the athletes used to breathe 1 up, 1 down, and he breathed every stroke. So a lot of the athletes are starting to get back into breathing every stroke.
This is about the point in the race where Chad Leclos would be looking around to see where everybody is to decide how hard he has to go.
The famous South African butterflyer who beat Michael Phelps at one of the Olympic Games.
Semenyak was first in 132.4. Can he hang on? I don't know. Here comes lane 4, charging Aiden Kirk in the lead now.
And lane 5 is coming as well. Tristan Gouvier, the McGill swimmer.
Semenyak trying to respond. I don't think he has it in him, but here comes Aiden Kirk. And he is going to take the junior final. Kirk in 2:02.61 ahead of Gouvier, and then Semenyak does hang on for a podium spot, 2:03.60 for the 15-year-old.
And he looks like he's hurting a little bit at the end. He went out, he was brave. He went out pretty strong, but he didn't quite have the finish that obviously he wanted to be able to win, but he tacked it at the front end. He's young. He's gonna be able to figure it out, no question about it. One of the youngest guys in the field at only 15 years of age. Kelowna Aquajets.
Just about all the top guys finished faster than they went in the morning heat, so good finish for day 5 for these swimmers and a good finish for everybody.
Great races tonight and lots of great racing to go. A new Carroll world record for Richard Callahan's Nick Bennett. 2 days left of racing in the 2024 Olympic and Paralympic trials.
We're going to do it again tomorrow, Byron, starting just about 9:25 in the morning. Jason Pratt and Brittany McLean with the heats. We'll be back again tomorrow night for finals. What are your memories and thoughts about day 5?
There were a bunch of athletes that rose to the challenge. They were able to make it. Masabi was obviously one of them. We've got many, many athletes that are doing what they came to do, and that's obviously what you're getting excited about. Penny Alexiak being one of them. She did the job in the 100 free. Would have liked to have been a little bit faster. Was a little bit upset at the end of the race, but she did the job. Boom, right to the wall. I think the reason she actually out-touched Mary Sophie Harvey was she's 6'1" and got there a couple 100s ahead. There's Blake Tierney with his second gold medal and his second event that he gets to swim there. Big battle in the breaststroke. Kelsey Waugh earns her berth to her second, 1/100th of a second apart. Pickram wins it. She can't believe it. She's going to her 3rd Olympic Games. And then Ilya Karun, the butterflyer, one of the top guys in the world, and he showed it, winning by several body lengths, putting up the 4th fastest time. Look at how far he is out in front of the field.
Well, fun and fast times were had by just about everyone in the pool tonight. We certainly hope you enjoyed watching as much as we enjoyed delivering it to you. My name is Rob Snook. On behalf of Byron McDonald and our entire team, thanks for being along. We'll see you again tomorrow in Toronto.
Canada tient à remercier ses partenaires. Swimming Canada would like to thank our partners. Le gouvernement du Canada. The Government of Canada. Speedo, votre partenaire de natation de confiance de votre premier saut à chaque traction. Speedo, your trusted swim partner from your first splash through every stroke. Les producteurs de poulets du Canada, fiers partisans et protéines officielles de Natation Canada. Chicken Farmers of Canada, proud supporter and official protein of Swimming Canada. All Tides, fiers de soutenir la natation canadienne. All Tides, proud to support Canadian swimming. Air Canada, transporteur aérien officiel des essais olympiques et paralympiques. Air Canada, official airline of the 2024 Olympic and Paralympic swimming trials.
I have a disability, but I'm not fragile. My first big hit was a rush. It made me feel alive in a way only sports can. Because of partners like Vel, I get to feel it on the world stage. And now I get to share that feeling with the next generation.